Okay, so hello to our viewers. I am Prince Seja, and this is my guest Natisha Bontif. She is a manufacturing technician at Jolly's Pharmacy, and today we will have a discussion in regards to International Day of Girls and Women in Science. Every year in February, we use this opportunity to celebrate the essential role that women and girls play in science and technology. And so Natisha Bontif is a woman in science and technology. So Natisha, welcome to this discussion.
Okay, thank you, Prince, and welcome to the viewers. As Prince mentioned previously, I am a manufacturing technician at Jolly's Manufacturing. And previously, my professional background started at the Dominica Library and Information Service. I worked at the Roseau Public Library and also at the Portsmouth branch and the mobile libraries. I stayed in this position for approximately 4 years. I served as a library assistant, and thereafter I decided to pursue undergraduate studies at SUNY Plattsburgh in Plattsburgh, New York, and I pursued a Bachelor of Science degree in biochemistry. I also minored in environmental science.
So that educational background from New York, that tells you that solidifies that you are really a woman in science. So we're going to look at the transition from the library to the science field. So how easy or how difficult was that transition?
It wasn't too difficult. It was just like the first couple of weeks, seeing that I was out of the field for a few years, it was a bit difficult to really catch myself. So the first couple of weeks I struggled a bit. I basically had to relearn most of the basic things I learned as a high school student and also as a college student, because I did sciences at the state college. So basically I had to just refresh myself when I went to university, and then when I started at Jolly's.
Okay. So what were the motivating factors for pursuing that biochemistry degree?
I believe it was my love for both subjects, both biology and chemistry, although I prefer chemistry, but I still wanted to be involved in both of them. And I believe my background, growing up, my mother was very big on traditional medicine. So if we had a cold, if we caught off, I had a cut or something, she would try to use like the herbs instead of going to the pharmacy or thing. So I feel like that helped me like realize the importance of plants. And I believe it was in high school I decided that I want to get into pharmacology. I wanted to get into biochemistry, and basically the basis of any living organism are our organic molecules. So for example, our proteins, which are our basic building blocks, I really wanted to learn more about proteins, how they work, what they compose of, and how the chemistry of them actually comes together and make us human. So I feel like my background and my love for science and really influenced me pursuing that degree.
Okay. So you also said that your mother influenced you a bit because of her belief in traditional medicine. How do you balance, now that you work in a pharmacy, in manufacturing, how do you balance, do you still share the use of traditional methods and or more of the traditional?
Well, I mean, seeing that I work in Dominica, for example, I should say I am a bit limited with what I can really do with in terms of acquiring that, like leaning towards traditional medicine or using like plants to be able to make medicine. But there are some of our products that we try to actually go natural. So like there's some of our products where you could find like 80% of our ingredients are actually natural ingredients. Some of them are actually locally sourced. And we always try to keep our ingredients to like a minimum 5 ingredients or something that the common person will be able to understand the ingredients list. So I feel like being like my background and then working in the industry, I can actually do something, not as much as I would have liked if I was maybe in a different country, but at least I still making some form of impact. So
Okay,
yes.
use of
Yeah.
traditional
Yeah.
in manufacturing. Okay, so you also said that you studied at an American university. Most of us, well, most Dominicans would usually have a kind of debate as to which university they should go to, if it's the Caribbean, if it's Europe or America, but you chose to go to America. Why did you choose an American university? Is it because of the availability of that particular course at that school? They are a better program than the others. So tell us about your decision to go to an American university.
Well, when I actually decided on what I actually wanted to pursue for my undergrad, I did a lot of research. I looked at the requirements, I looked at schools, I looked at location. And one of the things for me was being in a position where I'd be able to get opportunities. And I felt that being in the United States would have given me better exposure. I feel like I would have gotten more opportunities. And also another reason why I chose the United States, I wanted to interact with a wide range of people from different cultures, different countries, and I felt that that would help me as an individual because I would be more diverse. And in the world of work, it's always good to be diverse. You know, it's always good to have different experiences and interact with people with different experiences and perceptions from your own, so that it will help you understand. Because the world of work is very multiverse and you need to be very diverse, and I feel like America really provided that for me. And also I really wanted to be a little further away from home, you know, so that I could be a little bit more independent, as you would call it.
Strange that you should mention that, because most people want to be somewhere close where they have other family members nearby to engage them or to help them out in case of an event happening. So it's strange that you should say you wanted to be away from your family and not, as opposed to being close. You mentioned that you wanted to get more opportunities. What are some of these opportunities you were looking at?
Well, I was thinking of basically research, independent research. I felt like the United States would provide me with more of that opportunity.
And that is in relation to further studies, like
yes,
postgraduate.
Yeah, and also I'm like doing my research for my undergraduate. I realized that actually doing research in undergraduate at an undergraduate level would actually be an advantage for you when you will actually want to do your PhD, because most of the schools, they look for students that have done research. And you know, saying that PhD is basically research, you doing your own research. So I wanted to, you know, have that advantage, so I decided to really go for that.
Which brings us to the other question: is your major was biochemistry. Tell us, what does that, or what did that major entail?
Okay, so well, the school I went to, SUNY Plattsburgh, their program is has a strong foundation in chemistry. So we did a lot of chemistry courses, and that was, as I said, I love chemistry, so that was my preferred subject. So I did biochemistry as a major course. I also did organic chemistry. I did calculus. I did physics. I did cell bio, and I also did instrumental analysis. Instrumental analysis is basically where you learn how the machines that I use for analysis in chemistry, for example, the NMR and the gas chromatography and those things there, you learn how they work. So basically, you're taking apart the machine and you learn how each component come together to work. So that is also essential. And I did some electives. I did Canadian study. I was very interested in Canada at the time. So personal reasons, but I did that, and I did jazz history. I love listening to music and then getting the chance to listen to legends such as Louis Armstrong and those people. Those were very good courses for
Yeah.
me.
Okay. But what in all these electives, which do you have? Did you have a preferred elective or an engaging elective that you just enjoyed during the time at SUNY?
Well, my jazz and history class was one of my favorite of my electives. In terms of my major courses, I truly enjoy my calculus course. I guess because of the professor, Mr. B. He was I think he was 86 years old, but
Okay.
he was very energetic. He was very engaging, and he was very helpful. Like I remember, after class I would come to him and say, "Okay, sir, I do not understand that. Can you help me and assist me?" He was always willing. So I think that really made me enjoy his courses. And I did organic chemistry, and I kind of developed a personal relationship with my professor because he was also the gospel choir leader. Like, he was in charge of the gospel, and I was actually singing in the gospel choir.
So you did engage in extracurricular activities?
Yes, I
So
actually.
it wasn't about just biochem.
No. I always try to, like, balance it off, because sometimes it was very, very hectic, and it was a lot, and sometimes I just had to. So singing, that was one of my way of just balancing up and just getting all the extras. Yeah. So organic chemistry was also fun.
That's a good thing for, as you mentioned, it's a good thing for students and professors to have a good relationship.
Yes.
And it always well for the school, because new students, if you're marketing the school, you can advise them that this school is much better. The student to professor relations is better than this other university. So as a plug for the school as well.
Yes, I agree.
You mentioned that you were a manufacturing technician. What is a manufacturing technician?
A manufacturing technician is a person who deals with all the processes involved in a production of products. They deal with quality control of the products and documentation and records, and basically they maintain the equipment that are used in production. So basically supervising the production area and everything that goes on in the production area.
So what does a typical day for you entail?
Well, my typical day, when I come in the morning, we always sanitize. We sanitize our work area, our utensils, and all that is to ensure that we don't have any contamination that would possibly affect our finished products. And then we have inspection of the raw materials and the equipment that we have to use for the day. We have to ensure that they are up to the standards that are required. And then we have measuring out of our raw materials. We have then, when the raw materials are measured, we mix. If there's mixing, if we have to apply heat or whatever, then we have packaging of the products, and then we have sometimes we receive goods, so we have that's the next process for us. And then at the end of the day, we end with sanitizing and cleaning. So we start with cleaning and sanitization, and then we end with it. All that is an attempt to ensure that all our products are consistent in quality, and also we don't have, we maintain our good manufacturing practices. So that is how
And safety of the product.
Yes.
So this whole discussion is about women and girls and women in science, and you've articulated that whole process of you getting educated in the science field. What advice would you give to girls or female peers who wish to pursue that same journey that you have gone through?
Well, I would advise them to go for it. Like, be confident in your decision, I mean, there will always be somebody that will try to discourage, but be confident, and be prepared to work hard. Because if you do not put in the work, you will not succeed. Science is not a subject where you can just be laid back and all that. You have to be at it, and you have to be willing to make the necessary sacrifices, because trust me, there will be either you have to sacrifice your social life, there have to be some form of sacrifice. And I also recommend that you do research, before you decide that whatever subject you want to do, you do proper research, you ensure that it's something that you are passionate about. And not just do it because of the monetary gain. You do it because, if you're passionate, and then if you're somebody that really want to give back, like you're looking for something rewarding, then you make sure you're in the right field. And also for schools, you make sure you should have a checklist, ensure if you're looking at location, if you're looking at, you also have to look at accreditation. You also have to look for whatever opportunities. Some schools, they might have more scholarships, or they might have internships, so if you have to look out for those things there. And just be determined, be persistent, and have a strong support system. Because from what my time studying science, having a strong support system is really effective.
And in the strong support system, you're talking about family,
friends, and former colleagues.
Your circle kind of.
Yes, so
quote
make
unquote.
sure you have a strong support system. And also try to get a mentor, somebody that has been in the field and can really give you the guidance you need to go through.
So you started off in the library service. Did we as a library assist you with the research that you need to choose university, choosing your major?
Yes, well, I remember speaking to the college representative, Renita. I spoke to her in regards of the school. I remember when I was in college, I also went to college fair. That's where I first met the representative of SUNY Plattsburgh. And throughout the process, my colleagues, I was still working at Reb when I applied to go and study, and everybody at the library really encouraged me and assist me, whether they help me write a letter, or I should do what they give me advice. Everybody really, so I feel the library has always been my home and thing. So the library has really been.
So that would mean if you met the SUNY representative at this college fair, it means that they did a very good job at recruiting you in particular.
Yes, so I think they made an impression.
Okay, because you actually went to that university.
Yes, actually.
Your studies. Do you think that girls and women in science play a better role in science and technology than males in science? What do you think?
Well, I think I want to be like in between. I feel like both man and woman have their own role to play as both, because we both have different perceptions. And as I said, I believe like having different perception is very good for any, work environment, any kind of field you're in. Because just having this like single-minded person, like you wouldn't have any growth, and things. So I believe that women in science, we make contributions just as well as men. And I think like when we work together, we do bigger things. Yeah. So our contribution. Yeah. So I believe, I wouldn't say like women are better. It's just that we have our own way we see, perception of how we see the field and how we can see solutions, and men have this. So whenever we come together, then we get a greater solution and greater collaboration. So I would say, we both make our own impact.
But do you believe that there's any major improvement in gender equality? Because, as you know, the world is about gender equality. Males, females want to be on equal standing in terms of career and career development.
Well, yes. It isn't where we women would want it to be, but I have seen that there has been some improvement. For example, you find that women are getting into those executive roles at the big companies, the big pharmaceutical companies, and the hospitals. And then when you look at the schools, you find more women are enrolling in the science programs than the men. So women are actually, getting the recognition, and we are getting the recognition. For example, in my department, it's predominantly women. We only have one male, but and whenever you look around, you see that women are becoming deans of the different of science departments. Women are leading research teams, so we are making headways, and I feel like in the next couple of years we will reach
that equality.
Yes, at that level, like we would really want it to be.
So thank you again, Natisha, for taking the opportunity to, as a woman in science, and as we celebrate Girls and Women in Science 2022, I'm pretty sure that our viewers would understand your background, where you're heading, and what contribution you've been making after you've invested much of your studies in biochemistry. I'm pretty sure that they now know what biochemistry entails and what a manufacturing technician at Jolly's manufacturing entails. So thank you again for that. On behalf of the Dominica Library and Information Service and American Spaces Dominica, we say thank you to our viewers. Happy International Day for Women, Girls and Women in Science.